All right, let's do some half angle identities with cosine. So I'm going to go up to my function here. I'm going to go ahead and loop it and whoops, I thought I was going to copy it. There we go, copy it. Paste it. All right, and that's going to be the image I'm going to use, or the paste, this formula I'm going to use for both 3 and 4. I have my little trig chart right here. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, problem number 3, cosine of pi over 8. So first thing I want to know, pi over 8 is in what quadrant? And the answer is it is in quadrant 1. Because it's in quadrant 1, it is positive. So the plus minus that's in front of this formula is going to stay positive. So plus square root of 1 plus the cosine. Now, this is where I screwed up in the last video, so let me double check it. So this pi over 8 is the same thing as x over 2. To get x, I need to double the expression that I currently have. So if I take pi over 8 and I multiply it times 2, that would get me pi over 4. And that's what's going to go in here for this cosine of x. So that's pi over 4. And all of this is over 2. All right, now I want to figure out pi over 4. Pi over 4 is actually kind of nice. It is one of our reference angles. It's in quadrant 1. I don't have to worry about sine at all there. It's just going to be positive. So it's going to be the square root of 1 plus. The cosine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. And that's over 2. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the complex fraction by multiplying numerator and denominator by 2. Go ahead and zoom in on that. So when you do this, right, you're distributing this 2 to that 1 and 2 to this fraction. So that's going to become 2 plus root 2 over 4. We've done this a couple times now. This denominator of 4 is really just a square root that I can figure out. And so that numerator is going to stay the square root of the quantity 2 plus root 2 all over 2. And there is your handy dandy answer for the exact value of the cosine of pi over 8. Yes, I know it is not the prettiest answer in the world. No, we are not going to simplify it in any way, shape, or form. It is that answer. Okay, so just let it be. All right, number 4. Cosine of 5 pi over 12. So first thing I want to figure out is where is 5 pi over 12? If it helps, draw yourself a little picture, all right? And I know sometimes working with fractions is not the easiest thing, but if you can either convert it to a decimal, 5 over 12 is a little bit less than 0.5 or a little bit less than half, which means I would be in quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, cosine is positive, all right? So this is going to equal positive square root of 1 plus cosine. Now I've got to figure out what fraction I'm dealing with next. So I'm going to take the original expression, 5 pi over 12. I'm going to double it, right? Because this is half angle. I want to double it to get what x is. That was, that mistake I made in the first one. So this is going to be 5 pi over 6, all right, all over 2. So 5 pi over 6 is in, and I'm going to go ahead and slide over here. If I were to draw 5 pi over 6, it's almost all the way over here in quadrant 2. All right, it has a reference angle of pi over 6. And that angle in quadrant 2, because we're talking about cosine, this is a negative value. Okay. So we would have the whole fraction's positive, but inside we've got 1 plus negative whatever the cosine of pi over 6 is. So let's see, what is the cosine of pi over 6? Root 3 over 2. All right, so root 3 over 2, all over 2. I'm going to go ahead and make that problem non-complex. So I'm going to take the entire numerator and entire denominator, multiply it times 2. So let's see what we get here. So big old root, so 2 minus root 3 over 4. So a couple things just happened here. I distributed this 2 to the numerator, so I got 2 and root 3, and instead of doing plus and negative, I just wrote down minus, and then the denominator is 4. So if I simplify that into, take out the radical in the denominator, I'm going to have the square root of the quantity 2 minus root 3 all over 2. Yep. And there's my final answer for that cosine problem. All right, so there's the 2 cosine problems. No major mistakes this time, I hope. If there are, please let me know. And I will pop up a separate video for tangent. Let me know